Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to talk with you about this Tekton Automatic Center Punch. I want to go over some of the pros, some of the cons, and kind of what I think about it as far as if it would be worth getting or not. I purchased this because I like the idea of not having to grab a hammer and a punch to make an indentation if I'm going to drill something, whether it be in wood or in metal. So I'm going to get a piece of metal and we're going to try it on that and on some wood. So let's get started. Alright, so I have here an 1/8 inch piece of mild steel, just something that you would weld with, fabricate with. It's relatively thin. It's not thin sheet metal, but relatively thin. So I have that, and then I'm going to take the punch here and we'll get down close. So what I'll do is put the punch on here and you just press down. And it makes a dent. That way, if you were going to use a drill bit, it would give you a starting point to put the tip of the drill bit. So it works relatively good on this metal. That's kind of relative to like a finger. It's quite small. So I'm not sure if you were trying to drill a big hole, so you got out a big drill bit, I'm not sure if that would be enough room to really make a difference when you set the tip of the drill bit in there to keep it from walking. Now, if I show you here on just this wood bench, it makes a pretty good dent. So, you can kind of compare that versus that little one right there versus a big one like that. So it works pretty good in wood, which is great. So that would help you put a mark like that in wood, and then you could start your drill bit to keep it from walking. Usually in wood it's not as big of an issue, but regardless, it's very easy to use since you don't have to get out a hammer. I'm going to try it on a few other things, so let's work on that now. Alright, so here we have a cabinet that's in the garage, and this is thinner sheet metal, so this is probably at least half as thin as that 1/8 inch steel. So we'll put the punch on here, and as you can see, it's kind of hard to tell, but it doesn't really do much there. The two marks that I just made are right there, one next to the other, right at the edge of my fingernail. And so on thin sheet metal, it just doesn't seem to work quite as well. See if that'll focus in. So thin sheet metal is almost nothing, non-existent. So let's go back over to the table and we'll talk about it a little bit more. Alright, so back over here at the table, I wanted to kind of tell you what I think. I'm not an expert at any of this, and it's not really a huge deal for me, but I have seen videos of automatic center punches that make more of a dent, than this, and that would probably be better to just not too much. I don't want to put a huge crater in there, but I want to have more of a starting point than that. I tell you what, let me get out a regular punch and a hammer and kind of show you the difference of what you can get. Alright, so we're back over here at the table. I have my automatic center punch. just a regular punch and just a 16-ounce hammer. So what I want to try to show is how this piece here, these little dents, these little marks are from the automatic center punch. So let me use a regular punch with a hammer and then we'll show you those. I'm going to kind of do it on this end over here. Alright, so you can see what I mean by I want a little bit more area to be able to put my drill bit and make sure it doesn't walk. These are the small ones from the automatic center punch. This is from a regular punch. So let me grab a drill bit and we will, I'll try and see if I can show you the difference of how it kind of interacts. Okay, so here I have a 1/4 inch drill bit, and I want to see if I can kind of show you what I mean. So when you put the drill bit down, in theory, what you're looking to do is set that tip right there on the end of most all drill bits, unless they've been worn out. You set that tip into the hole and you try and start your drilling point there. So it's probably not showing up on camera that well, but I put the tip into the spot and it just, you know, even just, it doesn't stay as well. These are the automatic, these are the holes for the automatic center punch, and then, so this one's a little bit bigger here, so if I set the drill bit in there and then I spin it by hand, you know, it kind of helps keep it there, just because it's got a little more of a little bit more of a crater. So that's kind of what I was trying to point out. I'd like to see the automatic center punch kind of make a little bit of a better dent. Like I said, it does perfectly fine in a wood surface like this, but just with this 1/8 inch mild steel, and then it, you know, it performs a little bit better on harder steel, thicker steel. But you saw from the cabinet, that thin sheet metal, it was almost non-existent on there. So that's not really a good starting point for a drill bit, because you know, if you're trying to make a bigger hole, it's just not enough surface area. If you were going to use a really small drill bit, so I have this one here, this is a 1 1/16. This one would probably work better, you know, it would work fine with a hole, a little dent like this, and then of course it's going to work even better in here because it's going to be able to just stay there. But these little ones, even with the smallest drill bit that I have out of this kit, you know, it's just not up to the exact par I would like it to be. Now granted, it only cost $8, so I'm not expecting miracles, but I figured I would give it a try and see. So I'm gonna give it some more chances, and you know, kind of see how I like it with different projects. I mounted something on that cabinet surface that I actually showed you this on. I did mount something on the cabinet, and so I did use this center punch, and I just felt that it was difficult to see where I had punched, and it really wasn't much of a crater. It wasn't much of a dent, and it didn't really. I was actually using a step drill bit, which is kind of bigger than a regular drill bit, and it kind of helped from keeping it from walking, but not too much. And so that's kind of why I said I'm gonna give this some more chances beyond that. Now, looking into it a little bit, I did see that, notoriously these things aren't as reliable on thinner sheet metal just because there's not as much, I guess, there's not as much rigidity. So when the spring action goes in, the sheet metal just kind of bends. So it is what it is, but I would like to hear your thoughts on whether you like the automatic center punches, if there's a better brand out there that you know of, or do you just like the classic regular punch that requires a hammer? Those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours, and thanks for watching. I'm going to be putting out some more videos, so keep an eye out for those, and stay tuned.